Whether you're eating a sandwich, working at the office, or even skydiving, there's always time for OCN.
OCN, Word of God to the World.
Welcome to Rejoice with Friends. I am Terry, and I am so excited to have you here with me. Hey, we have back today Pamela Woldrop Shaw, special guest, master at goal setting, master at goal achieving. And today she's going to share with us on designing your life and living your vision. But first, let me share a little bit about Pam. Pam is an executive national sales director, Inner Circle, with Mary Kay Cosmetics. Pam is in the top 5 of all of Mary Kay, and I have even recently and so proudly seen her as number 1 in all of Mary Kay in a company of over 3 million beauty consultants and directors. Pam is the leader of leaders, leading the epic national area of over 4,000 men and women, and Pam carries on the legacy of Mary Kay Ash of loving and praising people to success. I had the pleasure of watching her at her fall advance, just pouring into people, and they just love her so much and respect her leadership. Pam is also an author of several books, and we're going to talk about her books today. And I think Pam is also working on another book right now that will be out very, very soon. Pam is an international speaker, as well as a very gifted teacher of these amazing weekend getaways on goal setting called Breakthrough Academy. Please welcome and give a round of applause to 13-time Inner Circle Executive National Sales Director Pamela Woldrop Shaw. Welcome back, Pam.
Thank you, Terry. My goodness, you make it sound really big. You're amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, well, we're so glad to have you back, and I just want to share with our audience that Pam was with us not too long ago and did a show called Goal Setting God's Way. And if you haven't had a chance to watch that, go ahead and look that back up on OCN, YouTube, all of the platforms of OCN, and you're going to want to see that first show called Goal Setting God's Way. But we're going to give a little recap of what we talked about last time, where Pam just kind of laid a foundation of goal setting and cleared away some myths that Christians may have on goal setting. And she talked a lot about how to find your why. And we talked a lot about a book that Pam has called the Breakthrough Goal Setting Workshop, where you can go into this and you can really develop and find your why to help you. But today we are going to dive deep in to learn how to goal set, and we're going to mostly be talking about Pam's book called The 90-Day Planner. And these books you can find on Pam's website, which is Pamela Shaw, SHAW .pink. And what I want you to share today, Pam, is something that was so touching to me and so beautiful, was the way that you shared on how your 90-day planner is a bridge. And I think that it's going to help some people that have maybe been stuck somewhere to be able to bridge them to something more positive in their life.
Oh, I love that you recall that kind of connection, because I really do believe the planner is a tool that can be a bridge from where we are to where we want to go. Yeah. A lot of times, Terry, don't you agree that people feel just overwhelmed with the big picture of, here's where I am, gosh, I thought I would be at a different place, and it's going to take so much to get there. I don't even know what to do first. Yeah. And a lot of times I think we just need to kind of bring it down into, what do I need to do today? What would make today a great day? And the 90-day planner walks you through what you value, because you can't live your values until you know what they are. Exactly. And then when you know what they are, how do you break them down into practical habits and application? And so in essence, that's what the 90-day planner does. It kind of walks you through. It's full of blank pages with starting phrases or starting sentences that cause you to make some decisions about how I want to wake up in the morning. Literally, what time do I want to go to bed? What do I want that room to be like? Science today shows us how you're going to get the best possible sleep. Will I give in to science? Will I create a dark room? No blue light, low temperature, heavy covering, soft sheets. Will I do that? Will I go to sleep before my circadian rhythm, the way God designed us, kicks back in and starts all over? Will I concede to those truths? And then, in terms of the morning time, what time do I want to get up? If I don't have enough time to do the thing that I'm passionate about, what if I got up 1 hour earlier, 5 days a week? That's 5 hours of productivity that could be generated towards something else. So the planner lets you design your life and encourages you to live in your vision.
And Pam, I just want to tell our viewers that we are going to just share kind of highlights of Pam's 90-day planner here. But if you would like to see something more detailed and in-depth, you can go to Pam's website, pamelashaw.pink, P-I-N-K, and she has this amazing video called The Method, where she goes into it's amazing detail, and as well as using some examples in her own life of how she's used her own planner. But so today, Pam, I'd like you to talk about the 3 C's of goal setting. Can you help our audience with that?
Oh, goodness. Let's see. Why don't you start us out with one of them, and then I'll build on it. How about that? Which one do you want to talk about first?
No. I think it's consistency.
What?
Is one of them consistency?
So the 3 C's, consistency. Okay, so that is a super important one, because a lot of people do start and stop. In fact, in January, one of the top 3 goals that people set is to get in shape, eat clean, create wellness, and get in shape. And they buy a gym membership. And gyms will tell you that by February 15th, the treadmills are all free and available all over again. There's nobody coming in, they're that rush of start and then to the, reality and stop. Another thing that people will set as a goal at the very beginning of the year is to learn something new. So whether it is, a new language, a new skill, play the piano, learn how to cook, whatever it is, that is the one thing that people will shut down even faster, because the brain is always looking for the easiest way out. It's looking for familiar. It's looking for what it does not have to work on to do. And so one of the things behind the planner and consistency is the opportunity to take one day at a time. It's all we get. It's manna for today. One day at a time, and then design that day, literally from the timeline that you want to wake up to the timeline that you're going to go to sleep, and everything in between. What habit, what key behavior. So some of those principles really surrounding the 90-day planner, consistency is a big word, but the principles are simply this: you can change anything in 90 days. Yes. Most people won't give anything 90 days of effort, but you can change anything in 90 days. You can change your body. You can change a relationship. You can change a business. Right behind that principle is the most important one. You can't change what you won't acknowledge. And so the planner invites you to simply be very transparent. This is my starting point. This is where I'm starting. You asked earlier, Terri, the third one. Let me give the third principle, because I do love this. Time invested in one area is time away from another. And so you have to consider your yes and your no very carefully. Like the time that we're putting on here, it's time we're not doing something else. The time our viewers are watching, it's time they're not doing something else. And so to become very intentional about your yes and your no, those are 3 of the most important principles. So I designed this years ago. My son was, I don't know, a baby to an infant to a toddler, somewhere in there. And I had worked with every planner imaginable. And I just kept feeling this this yearning, like it's though what you're working with isn't working. Design something for yourself that's going to work, that's going to hold you accountable for the hours of your day. In Psalms 90:91, it tells us to consider the investment of our hours, that as we do consider our time and the way we invest it, we will grow in wisdom. And so God connects the respect for time with the gift of wisdom, not aging, but the way we manage and steward the time that we have. So I created it years and years and years ago from a treadmill walk. And really I was like, Lord, why are the people that I'm leading not advancing in the way that I want them to? Because one of my identities in Christ is leader of leaders. And I didn't see any leaders emerging. I'm like, if I'm a leader of leaders, where are my leaders? This is not, something's off here. And I felt the Holy Spirit say to me, design your life.
Yes.
Live your vision. And so I started working on me and being honest about me and living each day as a steward of the day that God had given me. Yeah. Because, you can't give away what you don't have. Yeah. You can't give away what you don't have. And so the integrity and the character required behind the scenes, what you do privately eventually will be revealed publicly. And if it is in alignment with where God's calling you, there's going to be fruit. There are going to be other people who go, yeah, we need that. And that's exactly what happened, is that the principles I practiced privately behind the scenes became something that was beneficial to other people. And then fruit from that emerged. Other leaders, other people who just are like, that's how I want to live. I want to live that way. I want to develop habits, right? You're one of those people.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you. I want to share something that sets Pam's planner. Let me just show this to you one more time. Her 90-day planner, something that sets it apart from other planners, something that Pam created, designed herself, and that is the space between 7 days. And I think that is a game changer for people, where sometimes you want to go for a goal, and then you run out of steam because you might not take that time every week to reflect back. So Pam, would you share how you created the space between 7 days, the recalibrate, which I believe that's a word that you created as well. And
Terri, I'm so glad you brought that up, because it is one of the elements of the planner that separates it from all other planners. Yeah. So because every thought we have comes from memory. Every thought we have comes from memory. We can so quickly get into the habit and the routine of doing today what we did yesterday, strictly out of habit, not intention. And so at the end of 7 days, there's a 2-page spread in the 90-day planner that invites you to kind of recalibrate, review, redesign. In other words, is the way I lived last week lining up with what I say I want, who I say I want to become, who God has called me to become? Did I live in a way that is advancing my life in a way that the Lord would say at the end of it, well done? Am I living that way? It's just an easy yes or no. And if I didn't, how can I tweak it? How can I be more honest, more accountability? How can I have better community so that I'm being more honest with the people around me? Those questions are all unfolded in that 2-page spread, so that by the end of working through those questions to recalibrate the week, I get a fresh start. It's a new week. Redesign it. With last week as a template, what do I want this week to look like? How can I improve? And it's not about performance, and it's not about perfection.
No.
It's about integrity, and it's about intention, and it's about honesty and self-awareness. And nobody's looking at your planner but you. It's just you and the planner doing the work. But there is tremendous neuroscience behind the eye to hand coordination. Okay. I use a lot of color. I use a lot of colored pens when I put mine together. I check things off. Good serotonin boost, endorphin boost when you check off a list of something that you wanted to do. And then at night when you put your head on the pillow, if you got up when you said, if you did what you said you wanted, if you responded in a way to other people the way you say you want to become, and you see the fruit of the Spirit and sanctification actually playing out the way that the Bible lays it out for us, then the tool is a great tool, and it becomes that bridge from where I am to the next lap of my journey. And then after 90 days is up, and Terri, I just did the last page of mine. Truth telling, I'm doing Thursday and Friday on the last page of my journal. So I have to set a new one up. And a lot of times I'll be like, oh no, I got to set up a new one, because it costs me 30 minutes to 45 to think, be honest, recalibrate, redecide, redesign, and get it set up from the beginning so that I can go after the next 90 days. And of course, we're all, looking at the end of 2023 in a way that we want to finish well.
Yes, and along with that, Pam has a great something else that she created. She's created so many things that this is another something that she's created that's original. Is where when you're in your space between 7 days and you're looking ahead at what you want to do in the next week, you're going to say, "I will do blank at blank," and Pam, I love that. Could you explain that to our viewers?
Sure. Our bodies and our brains look for the easiest way out and for the least disruptive way to do anything. And so if we want to take anything up a level, let's say I want to stop eating at 5 p.m. because I want to have not consumed anything 3.5, 4 hours before I go to bed. Mm-hmm. So for me, that has to be a statement. Otherwise, it's 7 o'clock. I might feel hungry. And out of habit, I might grab something, a spoon of peanut butter or a little handful of nuts. Well, then that alters and affects my sleep. It affects my digestion. It affects the deepness of my sleep. It affects the way I wake up. So if I want to create that new habit of, I want to stop eating by 5 p.m., then I've got to put those two things in place. I want to stop eating by 5 p.m. in order to have better digestion, have deeper sleep, wake more refreshed, give my body a chance to have autophagy, which is kind of a cellular vacuum cleaning. It just takes all the bad cells. Once you fast for close to 16, 18 hours overnight, and if you stop that early, you're not going to eat it probably 5 a.m., go 7, 10 or so, you're going to have a really great biological thing going on. But if you're not thinking all those thoughts, you don't take it all the way out there, you'll just do what you feel like doing in the moment that you feel like doing it. And then things start to spiral. Yeah. And that's where people feel like their lives are out of control in so many categories, because they've gone so long doing the easy thing without thinking about why or what.
And that kind of goes along with your other phrase that you created. What I want now versus what I want most. I love your explanation. I sometimes laugh at some of the explanations because they're just so true. Just so
There's always a battle, right? Isn't that one always a battle? What I want now versus what I want most, Yeah. What I want now is to have a snack. What I want most is to maintain nutritious macros today that will fuel my body and my brain. Mm-hmm. What I want now is to turn on a relaxing TV show. What I want most is to read 10 pages in this book that I'm learning from. And that you can take it all day long, right?
Yeah, and those two things go together. Is I will do blank at blank, but you have to realize that the what I want now and what I want most is going to come right behind that, because when you're saying I will do X, Y, Z at X, Y, Z, then all of a sudden you're going to want to do something else. And so this is what's so beautiful too, is Pam has this amazing video on her YouTube channel, Pamela Shaw, where she talks about narrowing your focus. That is one of my favorite videos. I've listened to that over and over again.
Thank you, Terri.
She talks a lot about guardrails. And so what Pam is sharing here today are guardrails that, even though we like to be in the honeymoon phase of our goal, things are going to come up. And that's where we have to have these tools in place, like a space between 7 days, and I will do blank at blank, and realizing you're going to want to do something now versus what you want something most. And Pam, if you could please explain to our viewers, from narrowing your focus, the guardrail, a scenario, and that it will help them to stay on track.
Sure. I used to, Terri, I used to work at Mammoth Cave National Park. I had a Smokey the Bear hat, and I was a GS4. I think government service 4. So 4s could throw torches. And I would take people into the darkest spaces of the cave with my little torch bag that had been dipped in kerosene. God knows what kind of chemicals I was taking in at that time. And they don't allow torches anymore. So I guess that tells you the story. But anyway, I put the torch on the end of my torch stick and then, light up a different part of the cave. And the cave is magnificent. Mammoth Cave National Park. Just a plug for Kentucky. If you've never been, you definitely want to put it on your bucket list. It's an amazing wonder of the world. But there are pits, big pits, right off the pathway. And once you light it up, you can see how dark they are. And there's one place called Bottomless Pit. Well, there's a guardrail through there, because even though you tell parents and children, be respectful of the 3-foot pathway you're walking on, don't get too close to the edge. You know what people do. They get too close to the edge because they want to see, is it really bottomless? Is it really that dark? How bottomless is Bottomless Pit? Like, it's deeper than you want to fall, I promise. And but the National Park Service put up not just a guardrail, but a guardrail with fencing so that people would not fall off the edge, because sometimes we don't make the best decisions for ourselves in the moment. We think that we're invincible. We think that we're going to get it right. So let's say that I decide I'm going to get up in the morning at 5 a.m. And let's say my regular wake up time is 7 a.m. What am I going to have to do? I'm going to have to set an alarm. I'm probably going to have to set a second alarm that would cause me to have to get out of bed to turn the alarm off. And by that time, I'm thinking, why are these alarms going off? Because my body and brain are not familiar. And now I remember, so those are guardrails. Alarm number 1, alarm number 2, I have to get up. Those are 2 guardrails. Now what? If I haven't said, okay, I'm up at 5, by 5:05, I'm going to be in front of my Bible and my journal. If I haven't set that up and I don't have a place where my Bible and journal are waiting for me, those are guardrails. I don't know what to do next because this is all new for me. But if they're open, I'm like, oh, that's what I'm going to do next. Now, another guardrail would be presetting, if you're a coffee drinker like I am, presetting a coffee maker, because literally I don't wake up to an alarm anymore. I go to bed early. I wake up naturally. But sometimes if I'm like not sure what time it is, I smell that coffee and I'm like, whoop, it's 4:55. I know exactly what time it is. And so that's another guardrail that causes me to stay in line with what I want.
Okay.
There are so many hacks like that. And today with technology, you can create guardrails all day long. You can set notifications. You can set outdoor lights. You can, set music. You can set your temperature. There are so many things you can do to decide what's a guardrail that makes it easier for me to say, yeah, that's what I wanted to do, versus fighting. This is not familiar. I really would rather sleep. And, because you can't think in the moment under stress and familiar. Yeah. You have to really train yourself to embrace that new way of whatever it is you want to do.
Well, thank you. That is beautiful. And everyone, again, we're with Pamela Woldrop Shaw, and Pam is talking about her 90-day planner. And you can find that on her website, Pamela Shaw, SHAW.pink. Pam also has an amazing breakthrough book. She's also written a prayer journal, and she is in the process of writing another new book. And we just want to thank you so much, Pam, for being with us. Thank you so much, Pam, for being with us. And everyone, Pam also teaches these breakthrough academies. She's not scheduled one right now, but if you keep a look on her website, you might see one being scheduled in the near future. Thank you again, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. And thank you, Pam.
Thank you, Terry. It's been an honor. I love you, sister.
Oh, I love you.
OCN, Word of God to the World.